Hello, 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 and welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. Before we get started, let me remind you that we are covered by the BIPCOT No Government License, which allows for the use and reuse of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the agents thereof. Bludgies thereof. God, I'm so backwards today. What day is it?
What the hell?
Nobody
I don't know.
fucking knows.
What the hell?
Nobody knows.
Bipcot.org, BIP, something, I don't know. We're also protected by Brandenburg v. Ohio, 1969, which held that the government cannot punish inflammatory speech unless that speech is, quote, directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action and is likely to incite or produce such action. So everything we say here on the podcast is hypothetical. This is episode 90, which we haven't named yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure the name will come up over the course.
Yes,
of the
I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
Usually does.
So.
All right.
Yeah, I don't got nothing. I'm just. What week is this?
Well, I did a little bootlegging this week. I did a little, some black market haircuts. I've been fucking planting shit and, just doing anarchist stuff this week. It was a good week.
You wonderful non-essentials. You must be
Yeah.
enjoying things. I am expendable.
Dude,
however.
I'm week 5.
Yeah.
Like,
That sucks.
See,
and I am now starting Wednesday. I am under a mandatory mask in public.
That's so retarded.
So
WHO literally just came out and said.
Yeah. So I dug out my shamog,
which
which is the absolute thinnest piece of fabric that I could find and will do absolutely nothing to protect anybody.
Yeah,
But-
the whole point of that
No,
is
it's-
just to keep you from breathing sand when you're fucking humping it in the desert.
and protect you from the sun. And I gotta say, having used shamas for what shamas are intended for, they're really good at it. They are amazing for what they're intended for.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I could wear it like as it's intended to be worn, and then get like some Middle Eastern garb and just walk through the store. Have people freak out.
Speak to everyone in Durka. Just go Durka, Muhammad Allah Jihad, Durka.
Yeah.
Find an app on my phone that ticks.
I mean, if you're suicidal, it's probably good.
Yeah.
Do that.
But I
Yeah.
have been inside for 5 weeks. So,
That sucks, dude. You're not
Yeah.
even like going grocery shopping and
on the few occasions that I have,
yeah.
like the shelves have been like 2/3, 3/4 empty.
Oh jeez.
Oh yeah, I believe California, I'm sure, is still just awful. Which is funny because our here in Wisconsin, our quarantine just got extended. So
yeah, ours was extended to May 3rd. Which if it ends May 3rd, which fucking fantastic. But then like May 4th is the anniversary of my mom's passing, so I won't be able to celebrate it anyway.
Oh.
yeah, no, it's ours
May
is
the 4th be with
26th.
you anyways.
Yeah, exactly. It's that's Star Wars Day, right?
Yeah.
You know. No, ours is to the 26th, based on Tony the Tyrant's.
Well, I think Governor Blackface extended ours till June 10th. Or he was talking about it.
Utah,
Jesus Christ.
Salt Lake City, extended theirs into July.
Jesus Christ.
They extended their emergency, quote unquote, emergency into July. Not the. I don't think they have an actual stay-at-home order.
Because the American economy can completely sustain that, to wit, the shirt I'm wearing and the patch I have on.
Yeah.
Just gonna point out, because I just pointed that out on a post the other day.
For the radio listener, or for the MP3, for the audio, for the people that
Audio
are listening, not
only.
watching. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Explain the shirt and the new patch.
Okay, so if you are just listening, the shirt is the shape of I think this is a Mark, SOP Mark 3, 4?
AR-15.
Okay, we'll make it simple. It's an AR-15 with an optic and a suppressor.
Looks like an L-can and what is that? A laser sight, whatever the hell they're called.
But it's Hawaiian print.
But either way, it's the silhouette of it filled in with Hawaiian print, and it says "gang" underneath. And the patch, if anyone is watching and wants a patch check real quick, the patch says it's a shark that is Hawaiian print with nods, and it says "Boogaloo, do 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 do."
Like the baby shark. Yeah.
The baby shark song, yeah. No, I got rid of the dumpster fire and put my armed abolitionist patch back on.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about this quarantine is that right there, the armed abolitionist patch, the encouragement for that concept and that idea.
Okay, I put it on right side up. Okay. I had to check.
Yes, your AK is in fact the right side up. Yeah, no, that's the beautiful thing about this is it's really starting to encourage people to go, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like, no, I'm ready to fucking fight somebody over this.
I've been seeing some people on my friends list, people I actually know in real life, that have been, obedient little statists until now and highly indoctrinated. And they're all slowly being fucking red pilled by this, just without me having to do anything.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things that I've talked to Ben Stone about, and Ben actually mentions in Sedition, Subversion, Sabotage, is you and I and Andrew like combined, like even say we're like 24/7, 365 talking to status and converting every single one to anarchists. We will never convert as many people as the state will.
I know.
The government, as the actions of the government.
Yeah, because they get your children for like the 12 most formative years of their life. Kids are spending 7 or 8 hours a day in government indoctrination centers. And I mean, if you have the attention of the youth, you can steer society any direction you fucking want to. Right. And that's why there's now, like, did you see that, like the Harvard Law Review or whatever? Some lady is like bitching about the dangers of homeschooling and how it doesn't create kids that, are good democratic society citizens. And yeah, that shit was fucking crazy. That article was just so off the rails.
You must educate your children in the ideas of the revolution, comrade.
Yeah. And she's talking about parents should have a limited rights in deciding, these things for their children. And fuck you all the way. Fuck every fucking square inch of you.
Yeah.
I will buy a horse and you can ride it and you can fuck the horse you rode onto. Like, yeah, all of that, everything, fuck your life.
I'm, and I'm to the point where, you know what, fucking bring it. So
there's a lot of people that are at that.
I know, but I mean, like, I'm openly to that point. So you know what, if that's the kind of person that you are, you're on the list.
Yeah.
Like, plain and simple, you're on the fucking list because
you and anybody you send to my fucking house to mess with me.
Yeah, you're clearly one of those people who's going to be supporting the state when things
no matter what. Yeah.
And you know what? That makes you somebody who's eligible for calling. That
makes you a fucking brown shirt is what it makes you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't I have a t-shirt that I haven't worn on this show, but I have a t-shirt that says "End Bloodlines."
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah. Send bachelors, come heavily armed. All right, what's our first article?
I brought articles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Just all right. Something along those lines. I'd like. it's along those lines. I brought it up just for the laugh because it's so I don't want to say retarded because retarded people, they don't know any better, but
Absurd.
It's so just moronic.
Yeah.
All right, so Kentucky's been having a little bit of pushback. Protesters crowded the lawn at the Kentucky building or Kentucky's Capitol on Wednesday. The chanting so loud it nearly drowned out Governor Andy Beshear doing his COVID-19 briefing. The message to the governor was that business was back open. Beshear had not yet said whether he plans to begin that process in the state. Beshear responded during his briefing saying that while he respects the right to protest, he did not condone the mass gathering which goes against CDC guidelines. On Thursday, the scene outside the press room looked a lot different. Kentucky State Police was stationed outside, and a large part of the lawn was blocked off by police tape. Health Commissioner Dr. Stephen Stack said he asked KSP to provide alternative options to help people demonstrate safely on Capitol grounds.
God, here we go.
Stack said there will now be an option to drive in or drive through on the top floor of the Capitol parking garage.
Oh my God!
Wait,
people will have to stay in their cars in designated parking areas and follow CDC guidelines. Hold up. Quote, these options allow people to use their voices and be heard while protecting the public health. Hold on, one more. WLXY also observed workers soundproofing the press room earlier in the day.
Oh my God!
You can demonstrate as long as the state is okay with the way that you are demonstrating. Is what
right.
You have your right in the way that the state allows you to have that right. That's not a right anymore.
No, it's not a right. It's not a right. It's a fucking privilege that they can take away whenever they want. Yeah.
Dude, I just
you can protest as long as you stay in your car in a designated area on the top of the parking garage.
Good fucking Lord. Which will only fit so many cars.
Or you can drive through protest.
Drive-through protest. Hey, you suck! And then they continue.
What? Drive-through protest. And then there was that article from Japan about kids attending graduation with like a fucking iPad stuck on the front of a robot with their face on it. Like with them live streaming through the
Can we robot protest? Is that Somebody just gets a bunch of fucking little telepresence robots and
This is like starting to look more and more like fucking WALL-E.
It's just, oh my God. I mean,
like you can't go to church in your car because they gave people tickets for that. But you can go sit in a designated free speech area to protest what the government is doing.
The most ironically named thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah. How do people not see the staggering fucking irony of this and absurdity?
It's because they lick boots so fucking hard. These people are such hardcore, I'm going to bend over, spread my cheeks, and take it kind of people that they will allow their rights to be tread on so hard as long as they feel like, and that's what it is, it's theater. We've gone from security theater to rights theater.
Yeah.
Where it's theatrical.
We've always had freedom theater.
Yeah, freedom theater.
I mean, yeah, to a certain extent, but I mean, this is really what people are embracing now. They're embracing this idea of freedom theater. They're embracing this idea that, oh, well, as long as I have the illusion that I get to have my voice heard and that I'm actually doing something, that I'm actually exercising a right, as long as that it's this illusion that I can fool myself with, now it's okay.
And to make it even worse, they fucking soundproofed.
They soundproofed the media room.
Yeah. So come have your
the
voice heard
room
from inside a fucking soundproof room where we can't fucking hear you anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, during the American Revolution, the revolutionaries regularly wrote letters, anonymously, largely to protect themselves. But they wrote letters to newspapers all over the place, to protest things that the English government was doing, and their objections to their rights being violated and things. And this is what they did, and that was how they expressed themselves, right, in the late 18th century. That's what they did. And this was a thing that was dangerous, but they could still do. And this is even more restrictive than having to go, well, I have to be anonymous as I write this letter and pretend I'm somebody. I mean, remember the Silas Dogood letters, right? That's Benjamin Franklin writing about way before the American Revolution, writing about ideals of freedom and things, and how this is wrong. And he's writing it pretending to be some widow.
Yeah, and the Federalist Papers were largely anonymous for the most part, and they were
Hamilton
widely circulated. Well, and Jefferson, and I mean they all, but they were widely circulated as anonymous, essentially. So but
and even that is more freedom and more free than what we're dealing with right now.
And let's go back to the quote from him real quick. He says, "Quote:
So if you don't have a car, you can't protest." I'm just
Okay. These options allow people to use their voices and be heard while protecting the public health.
It's for your protection, so it must be okay.
Yeah.
We will hear you individually while collectivizing your health.
Yeah.
It's just upset. And the worst part is that there are people who will pretend that they are anarchists who will support shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that a fucking trip? I mean, the pressure of all of this is really exposing who's really who on my Facebook friends list and stuff. It's really kind of bringing out people's true colors.
Hardcore. There's that wonderful meme with Paul and Paul Jr. from OC Choppers, that back and forth with the throwing the chairs and yelling with the, well, I just feel like we should have freedom to say, you just want people to die. Well, no, I really just want to be able to exercise you don't care about people's health. You want old people to die. No, I feel like maybe it's you don't believe science. No, I'm just saying that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I've blocked several people this week because of doing shit like the false dichotomy bullshit. Oh, well, if you don't think it's such a big deal, why don't you go out and fucking lick doorknobs? Dude, do you think I fucking lick doorknobs daily? I'm not talking about doing weird shit like licking fucking doorknobs. I'm talking about living your life as normal.
If you think that restricting people's freedom is in the name of the greater good and that makes it okay, you are probably a doorknob licker.
And let me tell you something. I'm not gonna fucking lick doorknobs, but not because I'm afraid of fucking coronavirus. You know what else is on doorknobs? People fucking wipe their asses and then use fucking doorknobs. I don't want fucking E. coli or. I mean, come on now.
Both the Oregon and New York Department of Health has already warned us about fecal contamination.
A buddy of mine's dad is a doctor.
Yeah, no fucking.
Just say no. Just say no. No rimming. Just say no to rimming.
The rim job thing. So I was talking to him the other day. I was hanging out with him the other day. And his dad is a doctor, and he said that is a legit actual thing that came out from the CDC as a directive to healthcare workers like going, "Hey, seriously, please, for the love of God, don't lick other people's asses during this outbreak."
Yeah.
fucking internet
How-
talking about eating ass all the time.
And my response
There goes the
is,
fucking millennial, like,
well, yeah,
entire entertainment.
my response is that's because there are so many women out there whose kids' names are like Taryn or Darren or fucking some sort of weird variation thereof, and they have all these stupid fucking Hunter, and you have all these fucking nurses with these stupid fucking names for their stupid fucking kids, and you have to make sure that the stupid fucking people who spawn the stupid fucking children do not spread this stupid fucking disease. Through
Well,
licking
they
other
already
people's
did by
buttholes.
having children. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's the most dangerous disease right there.
Darwin.
Yeah. Stater tots is the most dangerous disease.
Too many people, not enough saber-toothed tigers. I've been saying it for years. And I still stand by it.
Not enough. Well, we can just say tigers now.
Well, yeah,
Because that bitch
Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin. Yep.
Carol fucking Baskins.
Oh, I
Baskins.
actually I did order the shirt that says Carol Baskin's sardine oil, and it says that should do the trick.
Yeah.
And
As soon as she said that on that show, Kevin and I looked at each other like, what the fuck? Like, why would she say that?
the funny thing is, like, as you watch that, the entire thing, like, as you watch her objectively, one, she's clearly far worse than Mr. Tiger King, number one. And she treats her animals far worse than he does. And two, she very clearly murdered her fucking husband and fed him to the tigers.
Yeah. It's like glaringly obvious that she's a fucking sociopath, if you ask me.
Both husbands, if you ask a sheriff in Florida. He wanted he wanted to open an investigation into her other husband also.
The one from the
first
show?
one, not the second one.
No, the first one, yeah.
Yeah. Because her first and second both disappeared.
Right.
Number 3 is the slave that you see, who's very clearly, one, as soon as you see him, you want to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
And no reasonable person looks at that dude and goes, "Nah, I don't want to punch that guy." Everybody looks at him and goes, "No, I want to beat the fuck out of that guy."
Yeah, he just has a punchable face.
Yeah, I feel compelled to beat the shit out of him and set fire to his home. So
now I have to watch the show.
You haven't yet?
No.
Oh my god.
You haven't watched Tiger King?
No, I saw the trailer and all that, and it just didn't appeal to me.
Oh, dude.
No.
Oh.
Watch
it's so
at least
good.
the first whole episode and you'll be hooked. Because it's fucking weird.
In the first episode, fun fact, you will see a moment where there is an interview between the Tiger King and a couple of news anchors. That is a very young Jennifer Livingston and her co-anchor here in La Crosse.
Nice.
Believe it or not, after he did a show here at the Valley View Mall. And Jennifer Livingston, who is one of our local news anchors, is the sister of John Livingston, who you will know from Office Space as the star of that movie. That's actually her brother. She's the local news anchor here and has been for years. Yeah. Cool
Interesting.
fact for anybody who's listening who's not even remotely from around relatively near me and probably didn't care about any of that, but I thought it was cool.
We're used to it.
Hey, you know what? You know how much Wisconsin gets to play on the national stage? Never. All right?
That's true.
So, until lately, because of fucking Evers, Tony the fucking Tyrant, and his bullshit.
All right, since Andrew won't shut up about Wisconsin, teenager posted about her COVID-19 infection on Instagram. A deputy threatened to arrest her if she didn't delete it. The family is now suing, but family in Oxford, Wisconsin is suing the local sheriff's department after a patrol sergeant threatened to arrest a teenage girl for disorderly conduct for posting on Instagram about being infected with COVID-19. Amia Cahoon, 16, is a student at Westfield Area High School in Westfield, Wisconsin. According to this lawsuit, she and schoolmates went to Disney World and Universal Studios in Florida for a spring break trip in early March, right as the coronavirus was beginning to spread and businesses began to shut down. She and her classmates canceled a trip early and returned home. Once home, Cahoon began developing symptoms associated with COVID-19. She sought medical assistance, but at the time they were unable to test her to see if she was infected. She was diagnosed with upper respiratory infection with, quote, symptoms consistent with COVID-19, according to the lawsuit. Cahoon went home and posted on Instagram letting people know that she had COVID-19 and was in self-quarantine. Her condition worsened and she was brought to a hospital for treatment. She posted again about the experience on Instagram. Finally, they were able to test her, but the test came back negative. According to the lawsuit, doctors told her it was likely she missed the window for testing positive, but she probably did have COVID-19 despite the test results. As she returned home from the visit, she posted again on Instagram and included a picture of herself in the hospital wearing an oxygen mask. The very next day, Patrol Sergeant Cameron Klump from the Marquette County Sheriff's Department showed up at the family's doorstep. He was there under orders from Sheriff Joseph Conrath that demanded that Amia and her father, Richard Cahoon, remove Amia's Instagram post. If they refused, Klump said the family faced charges for disorderly conduct, and Klump told them that he would, quote, start taking people to jail, according to the suit.
Wow.
Krath's justification was that there had been no confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the county. He found out about the Instagram post from Amia's high school. The Cahoon family had contacted the school to let them know about Amia's infection, but nobody ever contacted them back to get more information. It appears that instead the school contacted the police under the threat of arrest. Cahoon complied and deleted the alleged illegal Instagram post.
Illegal communication. Illegal fucking words.
Yeah,
that's
because,
how low this country is fucking sunk.
Because they violated their Führer's dictates.
That's like Gestapo as fuck.
Yeah. That evening, the family would discover that a school administrator sent out an alert to families across Cahoon, or sent an alert to families accusing Cahoon of making it up and assuring families that any information of infections was just a rumor. Quote, let me assure you that there is no truth to this, the message read. Quote, this was a foolish means to get attention, and the source of the rumor has been addressed. The rumor had caught the attention of our public health department, and she was involved in putting a stop to this nonsense.
Yeah, so this girl was literally hospitalized.
For symptoms consistent with COVID-19.
Right, because of COVID-19.
And she was told that it was probably COVID-19 by doctors.
Right, a probable diagnosis by medical professionals. She posted about it, and in response, the authorities decided, well, but
that she was lying.
Not good enough for us. You must be lying, and threatened her and her family as they were at home with jail.
And since when has it been illegal to lie on the fucking internet, even if she was lying?
Sam Hall, an attorney for the sheriff, said the teenager, quote, caused distress and panic among other parents by claiming she had contracted the coronavirus despite getting a negative test result. Quote, this case is nothing more than a 2020 version of screaming fire in a crowded theater, he said, referring to a speech that is not protected by the First Amendment.
It's fucking,
no, it's not.
I mean, no, it's not, and it's fucking absurd.
It's a bad argument.
And it's demonstrative of, I mean, and you got to consider where Oxford. So Oxford, Wisconsin is down near Mauston, the Dells. If you're not from Wisconsin, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But the Dells is the Las Vegas of the Midwest. and it's very, very close to Madison, our capital, which is a hyper leftist stronghold.
Yeah, it's like San Francisco or LA in California, or Portland in Oregon, or Seattle in Washington.
Right.
It's the liberal area has a higher population than the rest of the state, and tends to control the state.
Right, but it's super left, and the closer you get to Madison, the more left it goes. So
San Francisco Bay Area, yeah, I know.
Yeah, so it's the same idea. The difference is
DC area. Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, I think the big difference from Madison versus Wisconsin is that we are hyper rural in those areas. So you have little chunks of town and subdivisions and these little things.
Bedroom communities.
Yeah, before you get to Madison. So these are areas where people live but work in Madison.
Right, that's the definition of a bedroom community.
Yeah, so right, I'm reinforcing that.
Right.
I'm reinforcing. That's what they only live there. They have all of their culture is in Madison.
Yeah.
So this is an area that has already gone hyper left. It's already gone super statist. That's the direction it is. So all of those areas tend to do this shit, whereas the rest of the state, outside of like Milwaukee and Madison, and well, Jason, you and I with Chris last week, we talked about that. Like when you look at it, you look at the east and kind of the southeast part of the state, and you go, no, that's the dark place, Simba. You must never go there.
You don't go there. Yeah.
That is the part that no one goes to. Oxford is right on the edge of that. So it's just rural enough that you would think.
So it's not the elephant graveyard, but it's where the hyenas hang out.
Yeah.
Right.
You would think that the county would have some semblance of reasonability there. Like they might be, but clearly not the case, because I mean they literally threatened to arrest a family because a girl was really sick, hospitalized, was told, well, this is probably COVID-19, and then communicated that on social media.
Mm-hmm.
From medical professionals, a direct thing from medical professionals.
Yep.
Right.
And she was threatened with it because, well, but der Fuhrer does not acknowledge that there is sickness here.
Right.
Yeah. It's overreacting. That's all.
I can't even. Oh my God.
They're afraid of losing control. I mean, they don't want to lose control. So, and that's the fear of all tyrants. They don't want to fucking lose control.
Yeah, because once people think, oh God, it's the apocalypse, I think that one of the dangers, especially in Wisconsin, which is so rural and so well armed, because unlike the coast, we don't have the same kind of gun restrictions you guys do.
Yeah, well, Virginia's gun restrictions are pretty fucking new, and I don't know anybody who's actually complying with them. So, Virginia's pretty well armed.
California's gun restrictions are pretty bad if you follow them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how many? Yeah. I mean, consider the gangs and all of the other people in California who don't give a shit. Yeah, no. California's laws are totally working out. But I mean, Wisconsin historically is very pro-gun and very, we're very well armed. So,
yeah, Virginia's the same historically. Governor Northam just tried to upset all that, but I don't think his shit's gonna stick, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, California has more FFLs than Texas.
Yeah,
but that doesn't really mean anything, and
right,
because California's fucking huge, but.
Well, and and in Wisconsin, like I think in the southern part of the state, I think that you will see a lot of people who will, because Evers is relatively recently elected, right? Before him was Walker, who was very pro-gun, and I don't give a shit what anybody's opinion is of him. The point is that he was very pro-gun, so he tended to keep things pro-gun, and Evers is a relatively recent election. So, but what we're seeing is all of these leftists suddenly have gotten elected recently, and now all of this shit is happening here. And now all of a sudden we're taking a veer, but the north part of the state, which is, you know, one person per 50 square miles, it's a Pine Sea, is the north part of the state. It's the Northwoods. It's called the Northwoods for a reason. As a generic term, like, most of the people up there don't give a shit. Yeah. Because what are you gonna do? It's me, and if a cop shows up at my house, it's me and him.
Yeah.
If he quietly disappears, what happens?
Brandenburg v. Ohio, 1969. Everything you say is hypothetical.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and Lindsay's from way up there. I'm not from nearly as far north. I'm from La Crosse. We're right on the river. We're right on the border with Minnesota. Not far from the border with Iowa. We're close enough, and we have UWL, which is the university that people go to when they can't get into the University of Wisconsin-Madison. So, like, we're right there. So it's super left-leaning, and it's increasingly left-leaning. So we're seeing a lot of the same shit start to infect.
Yeah, you get a lot more fear-mongering.
Yeah, and you know, Virginia's kind of going the same way because Bloomberg put so much into getting fucking Democrats elected in Virginia.
Like $100 million or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, getting Democrats fucking elected everywhere. So
yeah, you guys are even worse off because you're right next to DC.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I know. Yeah, and we live like directly between DC and Richmond. So we're like this tiny little strip of like traditional kind of Americana, like between the fucking liberal cesspools of DC and Richmond.
Yeah.
So
and that doesn't surprise me, but I mean, it's what that story highlights though, with the fact that a sheriff showed up, and I mean, it highlights it with as much as people in Wisconsin really love, and we do love to tout the fact that we're very independent, that we were at one point the frontier of America. You know, there was nothing here. We're made out of tougher stuff, and we've started to veer also to statism. Yeah. We've also started to go that direction. I
started in Oregon decades ago when Californians started flooding north into Oregon.
Jason, we're all looking at you.
Don't blame me. I got a California article here that you're gonna get so angry about, but
not you, but the locust Californians, the ones that lay waste to their natural habitat and fucking move on to lay waste to somewhere else.
The sheep that jump the fence.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so true too.
Yeah. And New Yorkers that the last decade has all been New Englanders, you know, like wealthy fucking elitist liberals from New England moving to Oregon. And
all I can think of is that article from Rhode Island with the door-to-door thing that we covered last week with the
door to door looking for New Yorkers.
Yeah, you are hiding the New Yorkers under your floorboards, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
All right, we gotta let's do a little easier one. This is out of Clarkston, Washington. That's on the Washington-Idaho border.
Mm-hmm.
When Kathy Hay set up her little free pantry in her backyard last December, she had no idea that an unprecedented crisis was about to create thousands of newly jobless neighbors scrambling to find food for their families. At the time, she just wanted to share food with her lower-income neighbors and give back to a community that had supported her when she was having a hard time putting food on her own table. Unfortunately, no good deed goes unpunished. Rather than sending her a note of thanks, Acetone, Azotin? No ideas? All right.
It does. I mean, you know what? Acetone sounds appropriate.
Yeah, Acetone County. Yeah, so rather than sending her a note of thanks, Asshole County sent her a cease and desist letter in February demanding that she shut down the pantry. To reopen, the county said that she would have to pay annual fees, a fine, and obtain a burdensome permit. If she tried to reopen without complying, the county threatened criminal prosecution.
If you
for
wish
trying
to
feed her neighbors.
Yeah, if you wish to feed your friends, comrade, you must obtain permission from the
let's
state.
Make this clear.
There's a public health notice on the door of her little free pantry.
Let's make this clear. Little free pantries are where you put non-perishables like canned goods, right?
Yeah, like literally everybody knows what a little free library is, right?
Right.
It's a free books, right?
Yeah.
Little free pantry is no different in terms of what it is. It just has food.
Right.
Or I've seen them here with they'll put like socks and those little travel sticks of deodorant and those little travel sticks of toothbrushes and mouthwash and toothpaste and little Advils and that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, and having been homeless and without food and without income, and that can make all the fucking difference, right? Like just being able to go, hey, I have nothing, so
right. And I know of one place I can go and always grab a can of beans or
there's something.
Yeah, and if you're watching the YouTube version, there she is in front of her little free pantry. It's all blue with stars. There's a nice red stripe, and then there's a sign in the back that says "Little Free Pantry." Take what you need, leave what you can, and then there's the nice letter from the county on her little free pantry.
Yeah, Jesus. And that's infuriating because, man, right now, if there's one of those around me that I knew about and I've looked for them, I have my Trump change, right? And momentarily, I didn't necessarily need it. Not that I'm up to date on my bills, but you know what? Those people can go fuck themselves temporarily. Yeah. So, if since I have the extra money, if I knew where there was one, I would go buy like a bunch of canned goods and I go throw them in there because I know what
if you could find them right now. But yeah.
Well, so, I mean, we have a ton of stuff, and so like I've been homeless 3 times. Yeah. I know what that's like. Dude, if you can help, even one can of beans for somebody who has absolutely nothing.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, that means the
everything.
World to
All right, so now Kathy and 2 of her neighbors who use the pantry have partnered with the Institute of Justice. I love those guys. To fight back. Today, they filed a federal civil rights lawsuit to protect the right to share food with each other. The lawsuit is part of the Institute of Justice overall effort to respond to the current health and economic crisis by working to cut red tape hampering individuals' ability to help each other. Quote, with the state's food banks running low on food and an unprecedented number of Washingtonians out of work, stopping neighbors from helping each other is the last thing the government should be doing right now. That is said Institute of Justice senior attorney Erica Smith. Quote, Kathy has a constitutional right to share food with others at her home, and needy people have a right to accept willing food donations. That's the other part we didn't mention. This is on her property.
Yeah.
Her property.
Yeah, this isn't public. This isn't just for anybody. This is for people that she allows on her property.
We need to coin a term for this. Something like single savior syndrome. Like where there's only one fucking savior. Nobody else can try to be anybody's savior. Only the government can be our savior.
Many of Kathy's neighbors in the working class town of Clarkston, Washington, struggle to put food on their table. Kathy herself has struggled to make ends meet in the past and wanted to help. Rather than donate to her local food bank, Kathy wanted to do something that allowed her neighbors to be more engaged in helping one another. So after doing a little research, she set up a little free pantry in her backyard. Little free pantries are small structures, typically the size of a kitchen cabinet, where people can donate or take food, similar to a Little Free Library movement. Thousands of Americans have built Little Free pantries to help fight hunger. In fact, many leading librarians are converting the boxes to pantries in light of the current crisis.
Exactly, because
and this,
it's what people need.
And not only that, but like another thing, like I think Andrew and I have talked about this before, but like being homeless and being like super poor and actually like needing help, like that is a huge ego swallowing thing to deal with. And a lot of people, when they're hurt, like they might not go to a food bank because they can't swallow that ego, right? But
if they can get help in a way where they don't have to interact face to face with people, that's more dignified for a lot of them.
Yeah, dude. When I was homeless,
or
like
shame,
I was
a lot of them are out of shame.
Yeah, when I was homeless and starving, and there isn't really another word for it, starving. I didn't go to a food bank, not because I didn't know that it existed, not because no one told me where it was, because going there is sacrificing every piece of your dignity that you have left and saying, I need charity. Like, that's not something, I mean, and you know, and the homeless camp that I lived in, most of it was vets. Okay, like that's the reality of it. Most of it was veterans of various combat conflicts for the United States from the Vietnam War forward. And unfortunately, I mean, we all have pride.
Yeah.
We have a lot of pride, and we don't want to have to rely on other people. And the moment that, I mean, you know, it's one thing to be like, okay, well, I don't have anything. It's another to go, well, I so don't have anything that I need to just beg someone else to help me. And that's not something that you ever want to do. And it fucking destroys you having to get to that point.
Yeah,
it fucking destroys you.
There's also like food pantries and food banks, like they have a limited supply, right? And they have to divide that up evenly among XYZ or whatever. And just having something like it's never enough. It really is never enough. But having something like this Little Free pantry, and one of the quotes here,
and transportation to a food bank can be problematic too, because like where I live in King George, the closest food bank is in Fredericksburg. It's like 45 minutes away from here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and if you know, and just to anybody listening, anybody if you have the ability to donate to a food bank or anything, neat.
Yeah.
Like, donate meat, man. Like, it just really, seriously, like, so many people donate these canned goods because they think that somehow is going to work. But if you don't want to eat...
peanut butter.
Yeah. If you don't want to eat canned green beans for 6 months, guess what? Neither does the homeless person, all right? Can you maybe donate something that doesn't suck? Like... That would be I think, fucking amazing.
The idea is of course that meat is perishable, which is difficult for somebody who's truly homeless to deal with. You know,
dude, but we'll figure it out. We'll fucking cold smoke. We'll figure out a way to cold smoke. You will not believe the ingenuity that is capable in a homeless camp.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Oh yeah, we came up. We raided the city dump, and we came up with a way to cold smoke things so that we could preserve them. We figured out all these things. We did this shit.
I've barbecued over a shopping cart flipped on its side before.
Yeah, I mean, what we did, we came up with all this stuff, and like, I'm such an advocate for homeless people because having been homeless 3 times, having lived in an actual homeless camp. Like, you don't understand how desperate some of that stuff gets, man. Yeah. And all government wants to do is fucking fight us and make us not able to survive. Like, they would legitimately rather we die than we get handed food so that we can survive. Like,
Yeah. Quote, the ability to safely share food is now more important than ever, says Carolyn Grace Brothers, a constitutional law fellow at the Institute of Justice. Quote, before the current crisis, Kathy made sure the food being donated was safe and that the pantry itself was clean and orderly. And now, given the current crisis, she's more than willing to take additional measures to ensure the food being donated is safe. Kathy's pantry took off immediately. People took and donated fresh produce, canned goods, and other foods from the pantry. Kathy estimates that her little free pantry served at least a dozen needy people each day.
That's a huge impact in a small local community.
Massive. When your community is 100 people, 10. That's 10%.
Yeah,
that's
to the people.
Huge amount.
Yeah, two of these people were Donna Larson and Brooklyn Anderson, who were both grateful to have access to free food for themselves and their needy family. Quote, when I needed help, the food bank helped, but it wasn't nearly enough, said Kathy Hay. Quote, knowing that people are falling through the cracks right now, I wanted to do what I can to help them. That shouldn't be a lengthy bureaucratic process in place to discourage neighbors from helping the neighbors in need.
A fucking man.
Everyone appreciated the pantry except the asshole County Board of Health. About 2 weeks after Kathy opened her pantry, the county concluded that the little free pantry should be treated like institutional food banks or soup kitchens. That means that, even though many in her community are struggling with food insecurity, the county prohibited Kathy from sharing food with them at her home unless she followed the long list of, quote, donated food distributing organizing regulations. Even though no one had gotten sick from the food in the pantry, the county claimed that these regulations were necessary to prevent food-borne illnesses.
Dude, Jesus. I would happily, and this again, I would happily eat when I was at that point. Eat things that were kind of expired. That were even meat and vegetables.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Expired doesn't mean bad. Expired just means, it could possibly, by government standards, get bad.
Okay. Among the requirements, a donated food distributing organization must undergo the complicated and burdensome process of becoming a 501c charitable nonprofit organization, submit an annual written plan detailing its operations, pay an annual fee, and have a commercial grade kitchen that cannot be in a home kitchen if it provides any fresh food. Even if Kathy secured the permit, she would still be banned from sharing fresh produce, fresh bread, or other food except shelf-stable foods with, quote, tamper-evident packaging. Adding salt to the wound, the county said Kathy told Kathy that she could not reopen the pantry until she paid a county, quote, invoice for the time the county spent investigating her pantry.
Oh, the fury that I feel is indescribable right now. Indescribable. I don't have words. I don't. It's as somebody who's
okay, here's
on these things.
This
that's the point where I'm just like, fuck you, I'm opening it.
Hold on, this is the kicker right here. This is
exactly.
This whole thing leads up to this.
If you try to shut it down, paragraph. I'll fucking kill you.
Hold on, this last paragraph. By asshole county's reading of the law, it is perfectly legal for a farm to sell food at a roadside stand using an, quote, honor box, right? We've all seen roadside stands, food stands, right? But it is illegal for Kathy to do the same thing with food from the grocery store.
Yeah, that she's not even charging people for.
Yeah.
It's just a centralized location in the neighborhood where people can fucking share stuff with each other. They could go door to door and fucking deliver, donated stuff to their neighbors, and that's fine. But don't fucking stick it in a box for anyone to come up and take. That's not okay.
Yeah, and I really don't. I don't have words for the amount of fury. I don't.
It's so ridiculous.
Because I've been there. Because I've been that hungry.
Is someone pissing in the road again, Derica?
No, all three dogs and Declan are just standing at the fucking window staring at me.
I appreciate that comedy break there.
It's
I really do. You don't understand. Like,
no, I do. I understand. It's insane. That's what it is. It's absolutely it's asinine. The amount.
Well, and you don't. I mean,
Just-
I think these people don't get it. They don't get how desperate you get.
No.
And
no.
this is the largest like function of privilege ever. Mm-hmm. These people are so fucking privileged. These government administrators are so privileged in their power and their position and their steady paycheck. They literally are completely fucking out of touch with the struggle a lot of people go through.
They're totally,
they can't even conceive of it.
And the thing is I've experienced that even in just like regular people. I've experienced that where I've worked with people who complain because where I used to work, CenturyLink, because I don't work for them anymore, so I don't care.
Hashtag name drop.
Suck my fucking dick. Sue me
for $1 they might
watch what happens. Anyway, so they where I used to work, their building here in La Crosse is right next to the marsh, and within the marsh is a place that has always been used by the homeless. Like it always has. It used to be called the Tubes because the city dropped sewer tubes, like the really big concrete sewer tubes.
Culverts, like big.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we're talking fucking 10 feet diameter concrete tubes
culverts
that were there. They would drop them there until they could be used, and there was rows and rows of them, and so you could,
that's good shelter.
Yeah, you could throw blankets on either end and things and make fairly decent little habitations for yourself while you're there. Trust me, I know you could. They, when you were there, and having been there, I understood a lot of the hate that you got living there and disdain from the upper middle class people and things, because you were so close to downtown and where people, the office buildings and things, and people didn't want to have to deal with that because they wanted to be able to, let's just walk down that trail through the marsh and not have to look at, I don't want to look at the dregs of society. It's so offensive.
Well, the only thing that's ever bothered me about like homeless camps, like especially the one that's set up on my dad's property, wasn't that those people were struggling or what they looked like or anything, is that they were like leaving dirty fucking needles everywhere and attacking people who were walking by and shit like that.
Oh, see, and if you're doing that, I mean, at least in the homeless camp that I lived in, because the majority of them were vets, we wouldn't have put up with that.
Yeah,
like,
police sure.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, the majority of people either had alcohol problems, or they had drug problems, or they had, they psychological problems. Okay, fine, but I mean, for the most part, everyone just wanted to be left alone. Like, we just wanted a home, man. That we just wanted to be able to set up and have somewhere to go at the end of the night, and maybe find a
and not
job.
Get rained on.
And that's all we wanted. But the thing that I learned very quickly is that through talking to people when I worked there, years later after I was there at CenturyLink, is that people had this tendency to view the homeless, regardless of what circumstances led them there and everything else, as riffraff.
Yeah.
As something to get rid of, as something to throw away, and they didn't want to deal with them. They didn't, none of that. No one wanted to go, well, but, maybe all they need is a boost. Maybe, they're just struggling temporarily, and I need just.
Yeah, there's definitely a psychological caste system in this country.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And there no one wanted to look at it, and I can see where this whole attitude towards, well, you can't have this little free pantry. is a direct result of this idea, this middle class idea that, well, but I have enough food, so fuck you. You need all this licensing. You need all this shit. No. We need to keep them safe. No, you don't understand, man. We would all be cool with you handing us like couple of day old meat to cook over our open fire.
It's the same as like you guys remember a couple years ago, I think it was in Kansas. I'm pretty sure it was in Kansas. There was a big barbecue setup they were going to barbecue for the homeless or for tornado victims or something like that, and they didn't have a permit. And the health inspectors came through and took all the meat that they were going to barbecue that was all donated, given to them for this charity or whatever, threw them in the dumpster and then poured bleach on it.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, like this is that same attitude.
Yeah, tell me that those people aren't monsters.
Oh, absolutely.
They're fucking monsters.
Absolutely. And it's
just as much as the cops in Denver that were taking fucking blankets from the homeless.
Yeah. It's when you have absolutely nothing.
The people doing this, by the way, you guys, are unelected bureaucrats.
Yep.
Yeah. None of these people are hired or fired.
These are hourly wage employees doing this shit.
Yeah.
And they're allowed to just interpret the law any fucking way they want and enforce it.
Yep.
And what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do? The best you can do is elect what? A new county board, a new county sheriff, and hope.
But that's no guarantee, because they probably appoint the same fucking person because it's the path of least resistance.
And hope that they might appoint the right person who puts enough pressure on all these other unelected bureaucrats that maybe they're willing to resist the union to maybe fire those people. Like, are you kidding me? No.
All right, let's see if we can get Andrew to pop at some point.
Okay.
Let's see. We got California, and then we got Tennessee or New York. Tennessee. All right, let's go to another Institute of Justice one. So, new lawsuit asks whether state agents can trespass and place cameras on private land in Tennessee.
Oh my God, Kevin was fucking screaming about this when he read that fucking article.
Oh, dude,
I know. I'm not even joking. Like, Kevin gets so wound up about shit, and he gets really fucking loud, and it scares the kids. And this is one of those things. Like, he was so mad about this article
because it's his
property
rights.
Rights are one of my things too.
Yeah, it's his. It's his. If I fucking own it, if it's fucking mine, how dare you?
Yeah, tell me what I can and can't do with it. Fuck you.
Terry Rainwaters lives, farms, and hunts on 136 acres he owns alongside the Big Sandy River in rural Tennessee.
Isn't that name illegal? That name would be illegal in Maryland, Rainwater.
In Colorado, too. All right, it's clear that the farm is private property with a no trespassing sign on the gate. Yet agents of the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency ignored that warning, entered his property to set up and retrieve cameras that they used to watch for hunting violations. Now Terry and another property owner, Hunter Hollingsworth, are teaming up with the Institute of Justice to sue the TWRA, asking the court to protect their right and the rights of all Tennesseans not to be subjected to warrantless searches. I need to keep reading. Okay. Quote, in America, private land is not open to public officers, said IJ attorney Joshua Wyndham. Quote, that's especially true under the Tennessee Constitution, which requires state officers in every corner of the state, from the city to the county, to get a warrant before searching private property.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gosh, is that what constitutions say?
In Tennessee, in December 2017, Terry discovered 2 cameras set up on his farm. one overlooking his field and another pointed toward the back of the house Terry rents out to a longtime tenant.
What the fuck?
Oh.
Terry left
Oh.
Terry left the cameras in place, and a few days later they were gone. And Terry isn't the only local landowner to find they were being watched.
I have to interrupt. Why would you leave the cameras in place? I'm removing them.
Okay, those are my cameras. They're on my property. They're my fucking cameras.
Those are mine.
That was my first thought. And then my second thought was I'm putting up another camera and seeing who the fuck these cameras belong to.
Yeah, well, still I'm taking them, but then somebody will show up to fucking try to find them.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm setting up a camera.
If it's on my property, it fucking belongs to me now.
Tape a piece of paper to the tree. Hey, these are mine. Come knock on my door.
Yeah.
Those are mine at that point because those cameras, those are like $100+ pop, dude. Those are mine now.
Yeah,
those are my game cameras.
Quote, it's deeply disturbing that I never know whether a state game officer is walking around my land and watching my private activities. If the state can put cameras on my farm whenever they want, that really destroys the notion that this land is private.
Yep.
And having unannounced visitors walking around our farm during hunter season isn't just intrusive, it's dangerous.
Well, let me exchange a few words here. Something like historical marker, something like encourages strangers to trespass on my property.
Yep.
Yeah. Something along those fucking lines. Yeah.
You have to tell the story now. Come on now.
Everybody's heard it before.
Yeah, well, anybody who's been a long-term listener, but we have a lot of new listeners. I mean, we have a decent reach. So.
Well, it happens that our house sits at the end of what used to be the driveway to the Claydale farm, like the long drive that went back to the farm. And it used to cut right across our property. We have like 2 1/4 acres. And it so happens that that's the farm John Wilkes Booth went to after crossing the Potomac with his broken ankle after assassinating Lincoln. Like he stayed with the Mudd family in Maryland, crossed the Potomac the next morning, and came to the Claydale farm, hobbling on his broken ankle, looking for assistance. And they basically, like, they fed him, and then they were like, you're on your fucking own. You can't stay here. Because they had, like, heard, by then what had happened, and they were suspicious. So then he went back out to the main road, went down the road a little bit, and kicked a couple of free blacks, like sharecroppers, out of their little cabin and stayed there for the night. And then he was killed the next day down by Fort AP Hill by federal agents. But he walked right across here, and it's part of like historical tours and shit. When we bought this house, there was no fucking marker. None. And there was nothing in any of the fucking paperwork. We read every fucking word of the contract and all the attendant paperwork. We always do. Intelligent home buyers read every fucking word. There's nothing. No easement for a historical marker, nothing. And then like that summer,
it was only like a few months after you guys moved in, right?
Yeah. So like at like 9 o'clock at night, I come out front to like have a smoke, and I see all these lights over in our yard because our property goes to like asphalt on 3 sides, right? And one side is this busy Dahlgren Road 206. It's like this route through the county. And so on that side of the property, I see all these lights and all this activity and hear all this noise. And I didn't want to go fucking look because it was dark and whatever. And the next morning I go out there and there's a fucking brand new historical marker on my fucking property. One of those brown deals with a number on it that tells the story of John Wilkes Booth. And I'm like, what the fuck? Nobody even asked me, and they did this in the middle of the fucking night. What the hell?
Yeah,
this is private property.
Yeah, if that isn't shady, I'm not really sure what is. Like, hey, we're gonna show up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and they're like, and so I called like the historical society, and they're like, oh well, there was a marker there before several years ago, and it got damaged by a car that went off the road, and so we were just replacing it. And I was like, I don't fucking care. You have a duty to do your due diligence and make sure that the current property owner is on fucking board with you putting shit on their fucking property that encourages trespassing and makes them legally liable for other people's fucking stupidity. And she's like, oh, I never thought of it that way. I'm like, seriously? Nobody's ever fucking complained about this to you before?
I'm just saying all a Claymore takes is a trip wire.
Yeah. So,
That's I mean,
and
at this
there's
point,
always people parking on our fucking grass and walking over there on our fucking property, trespassing to take pictures of that thing. It's irritating.
That's where you should start dumping all the dog poop.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, I would too. I just a massive mound of
Dog
fucking
shit.
the dog shit directly in front of the sign. So it's just horrendous. So even if they take pictures, like, oh, here's this picture of this, and also a giant mound of dog shit.
Yeah.
Put it everywhere so they can't avoid it, so they step on it. All right, back to the article. While most Americans would think law enforcement needs a warrant to conduct surveillance, the U.S. Supreme Court held nearly a century ago that the Fourth Amendment does not apply to, quote, open fields. This misguided doctrine ignores the fundamental point of the Fourth Amendment that ensures that Americans are secure in their properties. Fortunately, the Tennessee Constitution provides greater protection from unreasonable searches of private property than the Supreme Court says applies under the U.S. Constitution.
I have 5.56 arguments that disagree with that.
Open fields. It doesn't apply to open fields. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a closed field because that's my fucking private property. And I'm defining that shit as a closed field. So fuck you.
Tennessee Supreme Court has rejected the open field doctrine several times. That's a good thing because otherwise most of the private land in Tennessee would have zero protection from warrantless searches.
Oh, yeah. Derica, if you want us to come down this summer and just build like a 12-foot high fence directly behind that, just to obscure the view, I am more than happy for us to take a trip down there. We will take a trip. I will bring my tools. We will build that shit. I still have a giant container of screws. We will, so I don't even need fasteners. I just need the lumber. We will build a giant fucking fence directly behind that to obscure the view.
It's in like the utility easement area, but it's not a fucking utility. So
well, I'm just saying immediately behind wherever their easements are, we build this giant visual block. I am more than happy to do that because just so that I can be like, fuck. And I mean, you know,
and I'm pretty sure I know who in my neighborhood was pushing this because somebody has to fucking ask for a historical marker and sponsor it. Somebody has to fucking request it. Somebody in my fucking neighborhood requested that shit get put on my fucking property.
Oh yeah, and it's, you know, and like in my area of the state of Wisconsin, we have the Battle of Bad Axe right near us. Which, if you're unfamiliar with the Black Hawk War, it's the end of the Black Hawk War. So it's where a bunch of natives attempted to swim to an island, and the American government sent gunboats into the Mississippi and proceeded to fire grape shot and canister into women and children who were attempting to swim to an island. It was a slaughter.
Massacre.
An absolute massacre. The men set up on this hill and whatever, and I've been planning on doing some videos on this for a while, and I'm probably going to record them this summer, but following the trail and everything. But that all of those markers are along a very narrow strip, right, of the highway, because in Wisconsin, if you're like, no, I don't want that on my property, they set it within what is the highway easement, But the highway easement,
which is like 8 feet from the road, right? It's like
oh no, it's like 24 feet from the road.
No. Here it's like 6 or 8 feet. And this historical marker is outside of the highway easement, but it's still within the utility because there's power lines going over there.
Oh yeah, so you could totally be like, well, that's not a utility, so I can cut it down. Yeah, right. No, it's see, in Wisconsin, all of that's kept within the highway easement, and so occasionally you get these little turnarounds and whatever else. You know, which I as a historian is neat to get to see, like, and follow along this highway, like, okay, here's where they went and here's what they did, and you can follow the Black Hawk Trail for almost the entire Black Hawk War, which is neat. But
there's people that do the same thing with the John Wilkes Booth Trail from the Ford Theater down to Fort E.P. Hill. Yeah.
But I don't, you know, I'm not gonna just wander onto someone's property and go, oh, I'm gonna go wander around, and I don't want a historical marker there. Like, that's the thing. It, like, so many times statists want to say, oh well, but this is for this thing because it's a benefit
are these
to
the same statists tearing down Confederate statues?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. But so many times these statists want to try and pretend that historical markers and easements and all these other things. Oh, but it's for, you know,
it's for the common good. It's for
common good. Yeah, and
all
with
that collectivist
especially.
Bullshit.
Yeah, and with historical markers especially, they're like, oh, but it's just one sign, and, you know, just to let people know, and you don't need to worry. I'm even a historian, right? Like, I made that's what I majored in college. And I still look at that and go, but if it's somebody's personal property, you don't violate that. Like,
right. And what if somebody gets hurt on my property looking at that thing? Like, some car comes off the road and fucking mows them down. Am I going to be held fucking liable for that financially?
What if they go off the road and hit the marker?
Yeah.
On your property.
Yeah. Right. Are you going to be liable for the marker?
Yeah, no.
All right,
I'll tell you right now, the answer to that is fucking no.
All right,
I don't give a shit what they think.
Again, all I'm saying is that claymores are triggered by tripwires.
Brandenburg v. Ohio, 1969. Okay. All right, let's make Andrew pop.
Okay.
From California. This is from Salinas, California, which is a little south of me. Monterey County DA's office allowing victims self-administer rape kits at home.
Jesus. Yeah.
Just do it yourself. It'll be good.
You guys are watching. If you guys are watching the video, you just like collective, all three of us at the same time, the same pace. It was all right. The Montgomery County District Attorney's Office are now the Monterey County District Attorney's Office are now allowing victims of sexual assault to perform rape kits at home.
Because nobody's ever lied about sexual assault. Now let's give them the tools to fucking fabricate evidence.
Hashtag believe all women, right?
It gets so much worse than you think. All right, it's a first for the county and a direct result of COVID-19. Quote, we're taking into consideration the fact that a lot of victims were worried about coming forward and making a report, and we didn't want to discourage victims from reporting a crime or going to law enforcement, seeking help or seeking treatment because of fears of going to the hospital. That is Montgomery County Deputy District Attorney Lana Nosora. Nosora also said half of the forensic nurses that would help administer sexual assault tests have now been reassigned due to COVID-19 duties. Quote, hospitals deem sexual assault examinations as non-essential services.
One of the few actual crimes that this country punishes as a legitimate fucking crime. That is a legitimate fucking crime.
Even
with a
according to our
legitimate-
standards as anarchists, it is a legitimate
Legitimate
fucking
crime.
Yes,
crime.
exactly. It's
So-
actually got a victim,
Yep.
So and
not
so
essential.
it's being called a quote temporary protocol that so far has only been used once since April 5th.
Why don't you just take what
Hold on.
forensic nurses you have left and make them home visit fucking nurses?
Hold on, it gets worse. Nassara said the process starts by the victim calling law enforcement, and then, quote, the officer goes to the victim's residence, places the sexual assault kit, on the front doorstep, and then waits in the vehicle. The victim goes to the front door, gets the sample, and then they begin a Zoom video call.
Oh my
Are
god.
you fucking kidding? Are you fucking kidding me?
A Zoom video call with the officer?
No,
Well,
with a nurse.
But another person.
Hold on. The Zoom video call involves a forensic nurse, the detective, and a victim advocate. Once the victim's statement is taken by the officer, the nurse is the only one that remains on the call. The victim then self-collects the sample under the nurse's guidance and direction. Quote, our priority was to make sure the victim has access to all the same resources that they would in person, Narissa said. Quote, we don't want people to be discouraged because fears of getting the virus.
I can still think of at least 10 different ways that somebody could falsify the evidence in one of those fucking
I don't know.
kits.
I don't even care.
How about a rookie defense attorney going chain of evidence?
Yep.
A rookie defense attorney, but even ignoring that.
Not
Even
only can
No.
women falsely accuse men with fabricated evidence, but
Yeah.
real rapists can get off the fucking hook
Yeah.
because of chain of evidence
Oh
problems.
no, that isn't even my fucking
hold on.
horror. That isn't even my fucking horror. As an actual victim. That isn't even my fucking horror of this idea.
It's
You're
extra
asking someone
victimization.
You're asking someone to voluntarily victimize themselves again by demonstrating visually to an unknown person, a complete stranger.
Yeah.
Via a Zoom video call, in which Zoom has been all over the internet lately for being hacked.
You're asking
into.
them. Yeah, you're asking them
There was
that.
There was recently just the other day, Indiana. There's a like an Indiana community council meeting or city council meeting or something like that, and some guy broke in and he was up on the video screen for like a full minute jerking off.
Yeah, on that big fucking business meeting or whatever. Like,
Now, let me ask you something. If the victim is a minor, isn't this creation and distribution of child porn?
yes, it is.
Hold on.
By the legal definition, it absolutely is.
Yeah,
But that just fucking like that's what I mean, beyond everything else. Like, let's ignore everything else.
Let's expose this victim to every fucking hacker on the internet.
Hold on.
It gets victim.
It gets better.
On the video again.
Hold on. It gets better. The kits the county are using are from a controversial company, Preserve Group. The company halted selling and marketing their at-home rape kit products after widespread objections, and 2 state attorney generals threatened the company with legal action.
Yeah. Because it's not fucking...
Because
it's not sound
status.
evidentiary standards.
Yeah.
Even like,
Even
look,
status.
we're anarchists and we don't like fucking government and shit like that. But when you have a violent crime that actually has a fucking victim, anarchists love evidence. We fucking love evidence. Prove to me that this happened, and we'll fucking open up a crypto pool to hire a goddamn hitman to take care of this fucking dude.
If somebody
Brandenburg v. Ohio 19.
Yeah.
Right. if somebody has raped you, I'm not expensive.
Yeah.
Potentially.
All right.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
In that situation.
Yeah.
I'm not expensive. I am more than happy to help.
Yeah.
However, I need
it's
proof.
still doing society a service, because then this person, it's preventing future rapes.
Exactly.
Right. Quote,
I'm doing a service to everybody at that point.
all right. Quote, the idea of allowing a person to perform an at-home rape kit test is just fraught with danger. That is Salinas criminal defense attorney Tom Wallenworth
You
said.
think? And hey, look, none of us have legal degrees, and we all figured it out within 30
he
fucking
said,
seconds.
He also said self-administered evidence collection is a violation of due process, and he would motion to have that evidence dismissed.
Yeah.
He also said, quote, I would be most concerned with the possibility of tampering of evidence and correctly collecting evidence, even if the person did use their best efforts to use it honestly.
Oh, let's just go super vindictive here, right? Like and graphic and probably banned from YouTube.
Right. The scorned Psycho X.
Give us the PG-13.
So the PG-13, right? Let's say there is fluid that is present within a condom.
Yeah.
This fluid is viable. It's not, within the destruction of whatever spermicide happens to exist.
Right. There's always some that's still viable.
Right. And so this woman decides she wants to accuse this guy arbitrarily. And she uses that home rape kit. She maybe does something so there's simultaneously her blood.
Yeah.
And
right. The Zoom call doesn't get started until she's already inside with the rape kit. She's got opportunity to contaminate the fucking instrument.
Using a kit that has widespread objections and 2 state attorney generals threatening the company with legal action.
Yeah.
So the kits themselves are already controversial.
It's already compromised. It's already disputed. It's already able to be contaminated. And I'm not saying that like women who are actually raped don't deserve their day in court and don't deserve their
justice.
Again, if you've been raped and you want justice,
vigilante justice is the only real justice. Hashtag that shit.
Yeah, let me know.
Hashtag
things can be taken care of. However, the point is within this, the opportunity for a defense attorney, even with a dude who's a piece of shit dude, bro, who fucking drugged you and then raped you, to get out of it because there is no way that this isn't contaminated is absurd.
Oh, yeah. My advice, my absolute advice is drive to a different county.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the hospital itself said that, where is it? Hospitals deemed sexual assault examinations as non-essential services. That is a quote from the district attorney.
That's one of the few actually essential services the government actually provides is funding for that. Like, that's seriously.
I don't even, you know,
different county.
And I just don't give a shit about the justice that government claims to have.
No.
If you have been raped and you can show me evidence of that.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Brandenburg, Ohio, 1969.
I feel that
maybe that should be the title of the episode.
Yeah, but I mean, what it amounts to is, well,
I'm just trying to keep you guys from getting from Duncan limped.
Title, hypothetically speaking.
Yeah. It's, you know, and that's the thing is, like, I'm an incredibly skeptical person. So if you can show me something in my skeptical mind that convinces me.
Yeah.
Well, I think I can make that maybe not be a problem anymore.
Right. But I'm going to talk to both of you. I mean, like, I'm going to get both sides of the story and talk to witnesses and find out, you know, what happened.
All right,
that's voluntary. That's vigilante justice.
Right.
What this is suggesting is, well, the state is really shitty already. at delivering justice.
Yeah.
So,
but we have a
let's
monopoly
allow-
on it. We're literally your only vehicle for justice.
Right,
So...
we're your only vehicle, so the only vehicle that we can come up with our also bullshit imposed quarantines and restrictions is to essentially handicap
and it's
the prosecution here.
and it's a double whammy too, because
we're breaking both your legs and both your
if,
arms and giving you a wheelchair so you have somewhere to sit, but you can't move
like
because we broke your arm.
even if say this all happened and you did the kit perfectly, and there's absolute without a doubt the test comes back positive as X person did it, a rookie defense attorney is going to get it thrown out.
Yep.
Right.
Oh yeah, because there's no chain of evidence.
Right. So there's no chain of evidence. So the criminal prosecution's out the door. All right. Well, your only discourse at that point is what, a civil lawsuit?
Civil suit, yeah.
Which wouldn't matter because the evidence is thrown out.
Yeah.
So you're fucked. You're fucked either way. You're raped and fucked.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
All right.
You're double
and then
fucked.
at that point, you're still
fucked
left
by your rapist and you're fucked by your government. So.
Yeah, and you're still left with me and my boys, who offer very reasonable rates.
Hashtag IRS Protection Services.
Yeah.
No, Brandenburg v. Ohio, 19.
Especially in that instance, like I think that a massively discounted rate compared to the amount of effort is a reasonable thing. I'm not advertising.
That's literally the reason the Punisher School was created.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not offering anything actual. Understand for legal reasons.
I think we're gonna name this article. Jason spends the entire time trying to keep Andrew from getting Duncan limped.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, fucking bring it. No, I don't even care, dude. Fucking bring it. Fucking bring it. Because at this point, no.
Hold on.
At this point, if I have to die in a pile of hot fucking brass for what I believe in, Lindsay knows she needs to get the hell out of the house preemptively. But at the end of the day, she also knows, as does my daughter, dude, I fucking die with a smile on my face in a pile of hot brass. So,
all right, let's
bring it.
Let's lighten up. All right. De Blasio. New Yorkers can report social distancing violation by texting photos to authorities.
See something, say something. Be a good citizen.
Or counter-revolutionary operations through your local commissar.
What is it? What is it? Snitch out your local Jews? That would have been the line in Nazi Germany. All right. Yeah. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio told New Yorkers Saturday that they can snap smartphone photos of social distancing violations and text them to authorities, and quote, enforcement will come as the coronavirus shutdown remains in place in the Big Apple.
It's a high-tech version of a fucking armband.
Yeah. Quote, now it is easier than ever, he said in a video posted to his official Twitter account. Quote, when you see a crowd, when you see a line that's not distanced, when you see a supermarket that's too crowded, anything, you can report it right away so we can get help there to fix the problem.
Oh my God. By what? Arresting people and throwing them in crowded fucking jails?
The problem of people behaving normally.
Yeah. The city's social distancing guidelines include standing at least 6 feet apart from other people. De Blasio announced at the end of March that people violating this could face a fine of up to $500.
Isn't it funny how strict they're being with that when they fucking literally their entire life revolves around being crowded in with millions of other fucking people and stacked on top of each other like sardines?
Yeah. He says, he goes on to say,
and yet the rural places are going, eh.
Yeah. Quote, thank you everyone who's done it the right way, but we still know there's some people who need to get the message. And that means sometimes making sure enforcement is there to educate people. How does one summon such enforcement? Quote, text a photo to 311-692 and action will ensue. Quote, it's about saving lives. Sending that photo is
Oh
going
my
to help make
God.
sure that people are kept apart, and that's going to stop the disease from spreading, and that's going to save lives.
It's like that meme I
So
posted a while back. It was a little like,
text all your dick pics to 311-692.
yep. Ladies, any unsolicited dick pic you ever got, forward it on.
Yep.
Yep.
It's just, it's.
Flood them with fucking cute kitten pictures. I don't give a shit.
That absolutely crash the fucking system.
Yeah.
Absolutely crash the system, and it's like this is I'm like we know De Blasio's a freaking socialist and all this other stuff, like super collective.
With
But, like,
nipple barbells.
don't put that image in my head. God damn it. All right.
On his saggy
what I
fucking
missed.
man titties. We're talking about De Blasio's barbells through his nipples.
Oh,
His
yeah.
saggy man boobs.
Oh, Jesus. Really? I had to come back to that. So I had something, and then you
We're talking about crashing the system, sending like every cute cat picture on the internet to that number, and send fucking pictures of Momo and the fucking gold and white or blue and black dress, and like all those fucking internet sensations.
Send all your dick pics to 311-692.
Yeah,
I would love like 30,000 dick pics to get sent to that. It would be fucking beautiful. But my response to him, oh no. We'll talk about that.
That's a felony in New York.
Yeah.
Actually,
not in Wisconsin though.
This is barely a felony because this is Glock 48, so barely a felony, but I mean, you know, it's MAGA's.
Yeah,
left,
I got a gun article for later, but
my point is, that's my fucking response to that shit.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Quote, it's about saving lives. Sending that photo is going to help make sure that people are kept apart, and that's going to stop the disease from spreading, and that's going to save lives.
Like that little meme of the stick guy looking at the newspaper and it says mandatory anal probes, and he's like, that doesn't seem right. And then in the next frame, he reads further down and it says, new law is only to save lives and protect the economy. And he's got a smile on his face. Oh, thank God. Like, is that all they really have to say for you people to fucking fall in line with whatever? It's to save lives.
Like, yeah.
Fucking prove it for starters.
I mean, and that's
what if I reject your fucking premise to begin with?
And that's the sad thing. That's the sad thing about this COVID-19 thing, is what it has done is expose all of the worst of the worst of would-be tyrants over and over and over again. That's what it's exposed. It's made all of these people who would otherwise
all the petty little tyrants have crawled out of the fucking woodwork like cockroaches to get some high out of having power over other fucking people. They get off on that. All these fucking Karens and Kyles that are fucking reporting on all their goddamn neighbors, they're getting off on that shit.
Well, not even just the Karens. It's the tyrants who already have been elected.
Yeah, well, we expect all of them shit from them.
Yeah, but I mean, the all of those people, it's exposed them for the true fucking tyrants that they are.
To me, it's exposed regular people as the fucking credulous sheep that they are.
Yep.
And I have a solution.
Again, there's a logically and morally consistent public figure that people are absolutely bashing for it. Ammon Bundy.
Yeah.
Ammon Bundy. I mean,
Ammon Bundy again, absolutely logically, morally consistent, and he's getting absolutely shredded for it.
Yeah.
He is surprising the shit out of me. Like that dude. If we have to get him on the show.
Oh,
I mean, we really.
He'll never come on the show.
I would love for him to be on it, but I think that increasingly he's actually somebody who might be an anarchist who's also got
he did make that taxation as theft post.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that was on the Bundy family page, not on his personal page. but
Somebody out there is red pilling that guy.
Yeah.
And I hope, and
government makes more anarchists than we ever could.
Yeah.
And I would love, but I mean, I would love to talk to him like just one-on-one and do some sort of podcast with him for like anarchist weapons Wednesdays or something, where I was actually able to sit down and talk to him and have a conversation about like government power and really put forth the ideas of anarchy and that you don't need anybody to tell you what to do day to day, period, and people will just figure it out, and we can work this out without anyone dictating to us. I would love to get to sit down with that dude, because every post lately that I've seen from him makes me convinced that he's already leaning that direction.
Right.
Yeah.
He's on the fence right there.
So,
he just, We got to wrap this up, though.
Yeah, cancer. All right. You want the good news or you want the gun article?
Let's do the good news.
All right. Coronavirus. Washington farm hatches plan to feed community by donating eggs. Rhode Island red chickens, which are beautiful freaking chickens. Rhode Island red chickens roam the pasture at Wilcox Family Farms in Roy, laying thousands and thousands of fresh eggs every day. Quote, they don't take breaks. They lay holidays and weekends and the whole thing, said the company's president, Brent Wilcox. At Wilcox Family Farm, farming runs in their blood. They've been raising chickens for 100 years. Wilcox is the fourth generation farmer and the CEO. And he says, quote, keeps us all busy here. Typically, eggs get washed, sorted, sent to grocery stores, schools, restaurants, and elsewhere across the Pacific Northwest. However, COVID-19's brought changes. They're struggling to keep stores stocked, but at the same time, the restaurant sales suddenly stopped. They have tons of liquid eggs and nowhere to go. Quote, we've talked about the possibility of having to dump these eggs somewhere. That just breaks my heart because you see what these chickens are doing to produce their eggs and how much cost and money and love and care goes into that.
And how many people need it.
Yeah, and just knowing they're going to have to dump this product almost makes you physically sick.
Yeah.
I've heard the same thing from Wisconsin farmers with
dairy
regards
farmers.
to milk. It's like, but we've done so much to make this happen, and I can't let this go. Like, it's useful to somebody.
Yeah. Quote, Wilcox decided to use the eggs to do some good. Quote, the community has been supporting us for all these years buying our eggs. It feels good to be able to give back to them. Wilcox Farms is donating 600,000 pounds of liquid eggs, which adds up to roughly more than 7 million eggs.
Wow.
Each egg gets washed, cracked, pasteurized, poured, and packaged. They're taking truckloads to food banks and shelters like Northwest Harvest and Tacoma Rescue Mission. In the midst of the pandemic, Wilcox says it feels good knowing chickens are nourishing those in need. Quote,
and honestly, eggs are one of the most nutritionally complete foods that you can fucking eat. You can survive on eggs if that's all you have.
You said it really isn't a question about money. It's a question about doing the right thing.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And it's still, as an aside, weird to me that Americans refrigerate their eggs.
That's you can thank the government for that and the pasteurization laws.
Yeah, it's pasteurization.
I want to raise chickens just so I can get my hands on unwashed eggs. Because if you want to water glass eggs, you need them to be unwashed to preserve them like that. So
organic, like still warm from the chicken's butt. Mm-hmm. Those eggs are so much more nutritious and so much more flavor than you get from the grocery store.
Chickens that have been able to peck insects out of the ground,
and that's so much an American thing. Like, you guys are weird.
They're fun to watch too.
You guys are weird.
This is established.
You're the only people in the world who actually like refrigerate eggs. No one else does. Just Just America.
Well, yeah, the problem is that when you get them from the grocery store, they've already been refrigerated. They've been washed and refrigerated, and you can't leave them out then at that point.
Nope.
But if you have unwashed eggs and you rub mineral oil on them, or if you do water glassing, which is like leaving them in water that has hydrated lime in it, it seals I mean, they stay good for a year or two like that.
Yeah, you can do.
So,
you can put baby oil on them, and they're good for like 9 months.
yeah. So
As long as you create a airproof seal.
Right, but for most people, their only access to eggs is at the grocery store, and those eggs are washed already, and so they don't last as long. So you have to refrigerate them because they've already been washed and refrigerated.
Yeah, but it's just purely like the FDA, like the rest of the world looks at you and goes, what? And that was one of those things that, like, I mean, more than anything, moving back to the U.S., where I went, you guys are weird. Like, no one else does that. It's purely, but the FDA.
Most other places don't even refrigerate their fucking milk. They leave it on the counter in Germany. I remember thinking that was weird when I was over there as an exchange student. They put their bread in the fridge and leave their milk on the counter, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on around here?"
And Canada milk comes in plastic bags.
Yeah.
Oh, it comes in plastic bags here in Wisconsin too. We're close enough to Canada that's.
Oh, you guys are like South Canada. Oh, don't you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
that's like in Meet the Robinsons. They call Canada North Montana.
Yeah, it's yeah, but I mean, you know, like you head far enough north in Wisconsin, and Canada's a 10-minute boat ride away. It's not right, but
yeah.
No, it's just it's a weird affectation of government regulation. In the United States.
Government regulates everything. Like literally everything. Like Alabama has a law against dildos.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're sold as novelty items, which is how they get around the law, but they literally have a law on the books currently.
Yeah, which you would know if you listened to episode 69 of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. Yes. Still our most popular episode.
If you haven't heard it yet, you need to go back and listen to it, and then also subscribe to us and like.
I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I gotta get going. So.
All right, Andrew's new page is linked.
That is
Anarchist is linked.
Yeah, buy my
Anarchist Hootenanny Roundup. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean.
Brandenburg, Ohio, 1969.
If you're tired of being a credulous sheep who gets blown around emotionally by like the winds of fucking government and every little arbitrary thing they do, buy my fucking book because you really need it.
Link in the description below. And don't be like that guy and leave a review before you read the book.
Yeah. Oh, it was short. It's only 22 pages, and then the rest is just fill-in stuff. One, it's a fucking workbook. It's literally in the title that it's a fucking workbook. And two, the description literally says a few concise chapters followed by like guided journal space or however I described it. So read the fucking description before you write a review.
Understand what book you're buying before you buy the book.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So on that note, send all your dick pics to De Blasio. 311.
Give that number again.
311-692. It literally has 69 in the number. Just saying 399-692 or 311-692.
Yeah.
Send the government your dick pics.
Yeah.
And if
they're
you're
asking
anxious,
for it. They said 69 too. Yeah. Right. So they're like asking for it.
Right. And if you're anxious to maybe do something.
No.
I mean, I'm not saying anything.
69.
Like
I'm support staff, yo. I'm not.
But
I'm not frontline material.
Roundup, and
links in the description.
We're welcome to have you.
And we'll catch you. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.